Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to fill out the radian measures and terminal points on your unit circle. Okay, so I always start out here at the axes. So this is 0 radians, but it's also 2 pi radians. Now moving along, we have pi over 2 up here. This would be pi, and this is 3 pi over 2. Okay, so those are the main ones on our axes. Next, I'm going to go and do the ones that are in between. And you pretty much just have to remember the first quadrant values. This is pi over 6, pi over 4, and pi over 3. Now, pi over 4 is the middle one. It's generally easier to remember, but the pi over 6 and pi over 3, those two can get a little confusing. The way I remember it is I actually do pi divided by 6 and pi divided by 3. And then I see which one's smaller, and that's going to be the smaller angle. And pi over 6 is definitely smaller than pi over 3. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to mirror these across. So the pi over 3 is going to stay at the top point. Okay, the pi over 4 is going to be the next one down. Okay, and then the pi over 6 is going to be at the bottom here. Now, I need to figure out what numbers go on the top with those pi's. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bottom number and subtract 1 from it. Okay, and 6 minus 1 is 5. 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. So those are my radian measures there. Now I'm going to do this quadrant. So again, I'm going to mirror it down. So this pi over 6 is going to come down here. Okay, this pi over 4 is going to be the next one down. And then pi over 3 is going to be down here. Okay, now the way you get the top numbers is you're going to take the bottom number, I'm going to call it n, and add 1. So 6 plus 1 is 7. 4 plus 1 is 5. 3 plus 1 is 4. Okay, now I'm going to mirror this across. So pi over 6 is this top point here. Pi over 4 is the next one. And pi over 3 is the next one. Okay, now to get the top numbers, you're going to take the bottom number. Again, I'm going to call it n. I'm going to multiply it by 2 and subtract 1. So 6 times 2 is 12, minus 1 is 11. 4 times 2 is 8, minus 1 is 7. 3 times 2 is 6, minus 1 is 5. And those are all the radian measures I need on my unit circle. Next, I'm going to look at the ordered pairs, the terminal points. Now, I always do the ones on the axes first. Again, notice the radius of the unit circle is 1. So this is the point 1, 0. Okay, this is going to be the point. Now it's up 1 and the x is 0, so it's 0, 1. Over here, this is 1 back, so it's negative 1, 0. And down here at 3 pi over 2, you have 0, negative 1. And it usually helps, like if you get confused with those, to just think of normal graphing and remember that you're only going 1 unit out. Next, we need to get the points. So start here on the outside of your first point and just count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Then go to the inside and count 1, 2, 3. Do the square roots of all of these numbers. So this is the square root of 3. The square root of 1 is just 1, so I'm just going to leave it. Square root 2, square root 3, and then put all of this over 2. So over 2, over 2, over 2, with all of these. And then these are your points for the first quadrant. Okay, so that's your first quadrant. Now, we're just going to reflect everything over. So this gets transferred directly over. So the 1/2 square root 3 over 2 was on top, so it's going to stay the same. Then square root 2 over 2 and square root 2 over 2. And then square root 3 over 2 and 1/2. Now, I do need to adjust for the signs of my quadrant. Now, let me write in the reminders of the signs. Okay, here you're going to have positive, positive. Over here, remember the x is negative, the y is positive. Down here, it's negative, negative. And over here, the x is positive, the y is negative. Okay, so now I'm just going to adjust those signs for the quadrants. This one turns negative and positive, negative. Oops, that negative sign is really not visible. You want to make sure it's visible. Positive, here's a negative sign, and that's already done. Okay, so now I'm going to reflect these values down. So notice this one's going to stay on this line. So it's square root 3 over 2, 1/2. It's square root 2 over 2, square root 2 over 2, and then it's 1/2 square root 3 over 2. And again, I have to adjust the signs based on my quadrant. Both values should be negative here. Okay, and finally, I'm just going to reflect these over to here. So this one comes right here. So it's 1/2 square root 3 over 2. Square root 2 over 2, square root 2 over 2, and square root 3 over 2, 1/2. And again, I just need to adjust the signs based on the quadrant. It's positive, then negative. So this is negative, this is negative, and this is negative. And that's it. I filled out my unit circle. So let me know if you need help with this, and study up for your quiz.